This is the third and final video in the Unity First Game series for the students. If you've liked these videos, please leave a like and subscribe. That way I know to make more videos similar to this. In this game, what we're going to do is we're just going to finish off what we've done so far, clean up our the way the program's set up a little bit, add a win page so that once you achieve a goal, you have something, a win that says you've won the game. And we're going to look at how to export the game out so you can play it on different platforms. We're also going to have a very quick look at making the same game but using different elements and like using the same technique to make a car racing game. And I'm going to do that super fast at the end. It's essentially exactly the same game we've made over the last 3 videos, except instead of putting a character in, you put a car in and your terrain's a little bit different. And I'll get to that right at the end. So the first thing I want to do here is I'm back in Unity, I've got my game here. I just want to clean up a few things. So over here on the left hand side, we have a coin here, and inside this game object, we've also got another coin. There are 3 coins that we've put onto the game so far. Now, what we really should do is get these 2 coins here, drag them down and put them into that same folder, essentially that same game object area. So all the coins are together. And we should rename this game object. We should actually rename that to something like pickups, so that I know during the course of this game all of the pickups are going to be stored within this one folder, and if I need to edit them or do anything, I can always go to the one folder. I don't have to search through all of the code. So now if I run my game now just as a quick preview, and you'll have a look, it still works exactly the same even though I've moved them around. We've got the coin count down the bottom here. My guy runs over, hits the coins. It's 1, 2, 3 coins. Now we want to have something like you win. If you collect all 3 coins, you win the game. So I'm just going to stop the game section, go back to my scene. I'm going to go up to game object. I'm going to go to user interface, and remember I did a legacy text box. I'm going to do the same thing. This one I'm just going to go legacy text, and I've created a second text down here. This one I'm just going to take the word legacy off, and I'm just going to put win, so I know that this is the text win. And it's really important that you label these things here correctly so that you actually, when you get into a huge program, you can come back and you know what each thing is, right? So here I've got text win. So now that I'm on text win, I'm going to go to my inspector side over here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set it right in the very middle of the screen. So I do want it to be right bang in the middle of my screen. So that's where I've set my text right there. Next thing is I'm just going to put something in here so that I know. I'm just going to put text win in there. I'm going to change the font size. I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to change the font size here to 24. I'm going to put in the center, put it middle. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to make it like a yellow color so it stands out. Put it to about, yeah, that'll do. Right, so that all looks good to me. So I've set up this text win. It's going to go in the middle of my page. It's going to be 24 font bold. I might even make it bold and italic just to be different. It's going to be yellow, and it should all be perfect, right? So that's the first thing. Now this is exactly the same as what we did with the coins, except I've just done it with a text win. Now we're going to go back to our third-person controller, and we're going to use the same script that we've been using over and over again. I'm going to use that same script. Click on there, edit script, and we need to set this up so that it says you've won when you've collected the right amount of coins, all right? And so that's why I'm using the same script, because on this script we had the coin count and the adding up the coins and that sort of stuff. So in the same script we can do that as well. So right at the very top here, I need to have a public variable because I want it to appear on the screen. So I'm going to put public text, and I'm going to call it win text. So it's going to be the winning text, right? So it's now a public variable, and when we go back to Unity, you'll see it down the bottom in the right-hand corner. We'll have this win text down there, right? So public text, win text, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Now, when we want to start the game, we don't want the text to say that you've won or anything yet. So let's just do win text dot text. That's actually what's going to be printed on the screen. Equals, at the moment, I don't want it to equal anything. I'm just going to have an empty set of double brackets. So at the moment, when it starts, win text, nothing will appear on the screen. It's not going to say you've won or any of that sort of stuff. Then when we get down to the actual code down here, when we collect the right amount of coins,
we actually do want something to happen, right? So let's go down into here, into set text count. Let's whack in here an if statement. If the count is, let's put greater than or equal to 3, because I know at the moment I've got 3 coins on the screen. When you put 50 coins on the screen, you just change that to 50, right, or to greater than or equal to 49, and then you should actually only win if that happens. Now, if they get greater than 3 coins, we want the win text, the actual text to appear on the screen to say, you win, exclamation mark. Semicolon at the end, and that's it. That should really be it. So what we've done is we've created a variable in here called called win text. We're starting to put into that win text variable the text of nothing. If they get more than 3 coins, we're changing what's inside that variable. The text is actually going to be you win, right? So we've actually done that. We save that. Go back to our program here, and now this win text down here, the scripts are updated, and you'll notice on our third-person controller, you'll notice down here there is the new variable, win text, down bottom right-hand corner where my mouse is, there's a new win text, and we need to link our text win to that win text. So we just link them together. So now, if I collect 3 coins in the game, essentially the word you win should come up on the screen, right? So here's my guy, I've got 0 coins. Now I've got 1 coin, 2 coins, 3 coins, and bang, there it is in the middle of the screen, you win. So obviously you can change that, you can make it bigger, you can make it flashy, you can make it something special. But for the purpose of saying, here is a goal for the game, you have to collect a certain amount of coins, there you go, you've won, you've achieved that goal, and you've done the work there to win the game, right? So I'm just going to save where I'm up to out there, so I get out of play mode, file, save. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is how to export the game to put onto a different platform. Okay, so we've created this game, it's fantastic, we love it, we've put 50 coins around the game, the guy runs around, collects all the coins, fantastic, right? Now we go to File, Build Settings. Now, when we get to Build Settings, this is how we actually essentially put all the game together and compile the whole game together and get it ready to build and to run. Now, there used to be in Unity the other options in here for a PlayStation, for an Xbox and those sorts of things. But I've been online, done a little bit of looking around, and it says now to have those extra settings in here, you have to have the Pro version of Unity, which means you've got to buy the version of Unity, the Pro version, and you have to be a registered Sony PlayStation developer. And once you've got those 2 things, then you can actually export your game out and have it as a PlayStation game. So unfortunately, you can't do that anymore. But what you can do is you can save it for Windows, you can save it for Mac or Linux, or WebGL. Now, WebGL means you can put it into a website and put it up onto the internet, which is a really great one. So I suggest we try a couple of these different ones and try putting the game online, or just trying it on your computer. Now I'm on a Mac, so I've chosen the Windows Mac option here. My target platform I've put in as Mac, and it's Intel 6-bit. You don't really need to change any of this as long as it's the same as the computer that you're currently on. And then essentially you just click build and it'll make that program for you, and it'll save it as an individual program. Now I'm just going to pause the video here because this takes time. This could take 5 minutes, it could take 15, 20 minutes depending on the amount of detail in your program, and then I'll show you that this game runs. I'm also then going to make another little quick video of a car racing game using all the exact same concepts that we've done so far, and then I'll build that, and I might try and build that for WebGL and actually put it online for you guys to play, right? So, but to start with, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to hit build. So that actually took about 3 or 4 minutes. It didn't take long at all, and I saved it to my desktop, and you can see here first game. I called it first game, and so my game is saved there. I got a notification from Unity telling me that I think my first game is ready. So I'm actually just going to go back to Unity here. I'm just going to close out of that, and I'm just going to hide Unity here. And I know this is pretty heavy on resources, so I probably should quit Unity, but for the purpose of this, I just want to hide it. And I'm going to go to my first game. There it is. I'm going to double click it, and let's see what happens. There you go, made with Unity. And here it is. Here's my game on a Mac, ready to go. And it's running around full screen. I love it. It looks high res. It looks really good. My trees look good. My palm trees over there look pretty good. The full screen version looks really great. I'm really happy with that, actually, to be honest with you. And then let's see what happens. Coins is really little in the bottom left-hand corner because with that text, it resizes according to the screen and the operating system you're on. So you can see my coins just became 1, coins became 2, coins became 3, and look, I won. It says you win. Now that's a tiny little thing. That's something that we could go back on and work on and look at how to fix those things. But in terms of having your own game created in Unity, ready to go, and that you can play, we've done it. So we should be jumping in the air celebrating. Right, next thing I'm going to do is show you how to apply this same technique to a car racing game, and I might even try and save that as WebGL and upload it onto the internet. Hit escape to get out of the game, and we should be ready to go.
Okay, so for the next section of this video, I go through and make a game again, another game. I follow the exact same principles that I used in the first 2 videos to make our first game. The only difference is I actually reduced the canvas size to half, so it was only 500 by 500. I go through and I actually do some of the textures on the ground first, just so that I could lay out like a car track. And then what I'm going to do, I actually place the car on there as well, just to get the scale right for the size of the track. And then what I go through is actually I've put green grass, and then I put like a stone wide area, and then I actually go through and put a gravel road right through the middle of that as well, so that it sort of gives me a guide when I'm driving the car as roughly where I want the car to go. Slowly but surely, I go through and build the whole game. I know the video is really super fast, but it's the same process. It's exactly the same process as our first game. Here you can see I'm starting to add some trees and starting to add different types of trees, different areas. I go through and test it every so often just to make sure that some things are working and other things are not working. And I go through and add the code, and then I start to add some coins. Now, the concept is exactly the same. It's identical to what we've done with the first game. The only difference is I'm running around in a car instead of a person driving around. So what I decided to do is add something like 70 or 80 coins to the game, and I laid them out all over the whole map. But what I also decided to do was make it so that you win the game if you collect 40 coins. Because driving this car, it's difficult. Sometimes it understeers, sometimes it oversteers. And just to get used to the controlling and remembering this is a first game, right? It's just a little bit difficult to get used to. And so I set the game up, and I started to get the game, and it was working. You collect all the coins, and it starts to look good when you're driving around on the track. Here you can see I'm putting coins all over the track, just going around slowly and copying and pasting and dropping coins everywhere. I actually go on to develop the track. I go and put barriers all the way around the outside, and I have cars like spectators sitting there watching, and just by using the assets from the assets library, all free, didn't pay for anything, you can start to make the game look like a really quite a good game. And see this little preview here, it looks quite open and vast. But when you see my final preview, which will run in just a moment, you'll see that I've added lots of other little assets, and it actually starts to look like really a pretty good game. Here I'm putting in some cars. These cars are supposed to be like spectators watching, and they're just like background for the game, just sort of background to make the game look more realistic. I put in lots of these barriers. I spent a lot of time copying and pasting and moving and rotating barriers, trying to make it look a bit like a racetrack, not like a Formula One racetrack, more like a country or a rural racetrack. A few cars around, lots of cones sort of there to help you. Used again, downloaded some assets from the cone store, put them in, and I'm pretty happy with the final product. I went through later and added extra coins and extra barriers, and sort of really tried to start to make it look like a real game. But all of these, everything I've done here is exactly the same as what we've done on the first project that you guys have got. It's just I've developed it a little bit more by adding more features. So here you can see a little bit of the game where I'm driving along. In fact, you can see here I come up next to the cars. So there you go, I'm driving past all of those cars. And then I turn the corner here, there's some cones in front of me, and I follow along next to the barriers, and you can see there the barriers that I've put in. And you can see those little features start to make the game look, more like a racing car game. There's a few more here, some barriers on the right-hand side, and then over onto the left. And as you can see, going along the road, there are coins every so often to collect. So if you collect 40 coins, comes up and says you win, and the game's ready to go. Now, I did download this as WebGL, but I also downloaded it and found that I liked playing it on my Mac. So I actually downloaded it as a Mac file. For the kids at school, I'm happy to share that file with you.